I knew him before he was Diddy. I knew him for a long time. When I first became champ, I knew him. I remember him. He used to have crates when he used to have my after parties and stuff. Also when they were throwing parties.
So I'm performing, and I'm just really excited. I'm trying to give it my all, and I bust my ass in front of like 20,000. I'm talking about like when you fall flat on your back, but I tried to do to play it off. You know how when you fall and you act like there ain't nobody seeing, you just keep on rocking. But it was like I just felt I was embarrassed for like weeks.
It truly is about the Benjamin, as we see.
Oh yes, he's literally.
It truly is about.
But did you at least see any parties or been to his parties, the infamous Diddy parties that everybody talks about?
I've been to the parties, but like I said, I don't know. They select you. You're selected.
Be more descriptive.
I'm gonna be more selective. You have to fit a certain description. Mm-hmm. You have to fit a certain mannerism for you to be led down that hallway with the door.
And y'all know what college I'm talking about. I took a few girls to his party. You understand? So the same woman that I worked for, she had to take, 2 girls had to go to Mike Tyson on 57th Street. Mike Tyson had a condominium down, I think it was 57th Street. And I took the 2 girls down there. This was a long time. This was in the night.
The girls were scared. That single phrase is what reignited this entire conversation. When Gene Deal described the atmosphere surrounding Diddy's inner circle, those words quickly took on a life of their own online. They were clipped, reposted, and shared widely, slowly separating from their original context. What began as a description of an environment was soon treated as proof of specific events. This is how modern rumor culture operates. Emotion moves faster than clarification. Once fear becomes part of the narrative, speculation fills the gaps where evidence is missing. The phrase became tied to Diddy's parties, which already carry a reputation shaped by excess, exclusivity, and secrecy. From there, the internet followed a familiar pattern that well-known names from that era were pulled back into the conversation. Powerful figures, familiar figures. Even Mike Tyson's name resurfaced, not because of new evidence or testimony, but because his past already carries public weight. When fear, power, and fame collide, storytelling shifts. The focus moves away from understanding and toward shock value.
He always respected me as a lyricist and as a writer. And that's what kept me up there from 2002 to 2009.
But did you at least see any parties or been to his parties, the infamous Diddy parties that everybody talks about?
I've been to the parties, but like I said, I don't know. They select you. You're selected.
Be more descriptive.
I'm gonna be more selective. You have to fit a certain description. You have to fit a certain mannerism for you to be led down that hallway with the door.
Whoa. Hold on.
Don't do that. I'm giving it to you real. You have to fit a certain description, a certain mannerism, a body type, a type of mannerism, a type of mentality for you to get led down that hallway with the door.
Somebody said a pretty looking boy.
Time out.
Wait a minute.
Time out. What I want to ask you at that time, like why? Why am I being excluded from this? That didn't like raise your antennas of that?
Me being young, and at that time I just wanted to be famous and I wanted to be a superstar off of rap music.
Yeah, but something
you didn't want to be in those parties?
Hold on. Something's behind that closed door, right?
Bro, but it wasn't out like it is now. Yeah. It's not.
Yeah, but you want to know.
You can go on the internet and
but he's probably not looking at it.
It's not out like it is now. It was still taboo. Nobody was speaking on it.
Yeah.
You couldn't speak on it. You didn't have a network of people that could huddle up and talk about it. Yeah, that network of people outweighed yours by far.
Yeah.
You would get pitched into a little corner talking about who's this and who's that.
Yeah.
You would run into a brick wall because it would be those on the other side.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Let me keep it a beam with you. The way they attack you is through photo shoots and video shoots. They send in the stylist. If you're getting your hair braided, one of those two guys might be not the way you think they should be. And if you're showing them the most love and yippity yappity with them, that's the battlefield. That's where they see, he had a lot of rap for the guy over here.
Right.
He's one of them.
All right.
That's
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. They can see who it is. Who's who.
They just know. I wear my pants off my ass. I wear jerseys. I smoke weed all day. I'm bringing the house, he's not. Ness is not the candidate.
That's right. That's
You
right.
wasn't
Ness is
like that.
Ness is not the candidate for the vote.
You wasn't like that.
Nah,
So let me
I'm not
ask you
candidate.
this. Let me ask you this. Who out the group of that, who y'all was with, was kind of?
I don't know. I was paying attention to the.
Diddy's parties have become almost mythological in how they are discussed today. In reality, they were high-profile celebrity gatherings that brought together musicians, athletes, actors, executives, and social climbers in the same rooms. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, elite nightlife in New York and Los Angeles was a small world. If you were famous, you were likely to see the same faces again and again. Over time, however, these events stopped being remembered as parties and began to be framed as symbols of unchecked power, imbalance, and silence. The problem is that symbols are not evidence. Online narratives often compress years of separate moments into a single dark storyline, implying that everyone present shared the same knowledge or behavior. That assumption ignores how celebrity environments actually function. People move in and out. Some stay briefly. Some attend for business. Others for visibility. Presence does not automatically mean participation. But internet storytelling prefers a simpler version, where being in the room becomes proof of involvement. This becomes especially risky when modern documentaries revisit the past. Old footage, old interviews, and old associations are pulled back in the spotlight, but context is often stripped away. The result is a darker, more dramatic version of history, one that feels convincing but is rarely complete.
About the time that you took 2 girls to 57th Street for Mike Tyson.
You want to know that story? Back in the day, I used to work for the Harlem Madam. The Harlem Madam was this young lady who would go to clubs, and girls who was looking to make extra money for being escorts, she would hire them to do work for them. You know what I mean? So this one particular time, I had actually, when KG from Naughty by Nature brother had came home from college, and y'all know what college I'm talking about, I took a few girls to his party. You understand? So the same woman that I worked for, she had to take 2 girls had to go to Mike Tyson on 57th Street. Mike Tyson had a condominium down, I think it was 57th Street. And I took the 2 girls down there. This was a long time. This was in the 90s, early part, the mid 90s or something like that, when Mike Tyson was the man. So I wanted them to, you know, I had this Tyson shirt in my truck and I wanted them to sign it, but I was like, yo, that shouldn't be professional or nothing like that. But I was a fan of Mike Tyson. I had a situation in a club before when he was trying to talk to a girl named April, and April was my friend and I was with her. So then, you know, I knew of Mike Tyson, but this is way before Zip had got involved with him. So I'm sitting there and I take the 2 girls down there. So they go upstairs and everything. I wanted so bad to tell them, yo, give me his autograph. Give me Tyson autograph. You understand? Because like I told you, this one Tyson was the man. You know, everybody, you know, yo, he represented New York to the fullest. So they go upstairs. So it was about 15, 20 minutes later, the one girl came back downstairs. And I said, what happened? She was like, nothing. I said, yo, I thought he wanted 2 girls. I said, I knew he couldn't handle 2 girls, but why he wanted 2 girls? He had other people up there. She said, no, it was just him. And I was like, yeah? I said, what happened? She said, he gave each one of us $1,500. And he said, yo, Gene, he just tore into that girl like crazy, like an animal. I was like, yeah? He said, yo. And I know this is a family program, and I know some children may be watching. He said, I wasn't going to let him do my he was doing. So I told him I wasn't feeling good, and I gave him his money back. And I was leaving. He said, "Nah, just keep $1,000 and thank you." You understand? He gave the other $500 to the girl. And so we stayed in the car waiting for the girl to come back down. She came down after an hour and a half was up. I was like, oh, that shit was crazy. She said, "Yo, Gene, he a beast."
Mike Tyson's name does not appear in these conversations by accident. It appears largely because he has been unusually open about his own past. Unlike many public figures, Tyson has spoken honestly about losing control, surrounding himself with enablers, and living recklessly during the height of his fame. That honesty, while important, has also made him an easy target for assumption. When people hear Tyson admit he lived without clear boundaries, they begin attaching him to every chaotic environment from that era. The logic may feel emotionally satisfying, but it is not the same as evidence. The reasoning often becomes oversimplified. If Tyson was reckless, and if Diddy's parties had a reputation for excess, then Tyson must have been deeply involved. But that leap skips a critical step: proof. There has never been verified confirmation that Mike Tyson engaged in wrongdoing at Diddy's events. No official complaints tied to those gatherings. No direct accusations from named individuals. No admissions connected to those settings. What does exist is overlap in time and fame. Tyson was a global superstar. Diddy was a rising power broker. At certain points, they moved within the same elite social circles. That overlap is not unusual in celebrity culture. What is unusual is how modern audiences sometimes retroactively turn shared spaces into narratives of certainty. Tyson's openness about his personal struggles is often misused as permission for speculation, rather than respected for what it actually represents. Accountability for what he has admitted, not for what others imagine.
The documentary, man. So this documentary drops and Roger Bonds is in it. And one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was Roger said that Diddy felt like money can get him out of anything. What's your thoughts on that?
Ain't that more than half the millionaires in this world? Ain't that more than half the people who got it? Yo, listen to me, bro. You save your money will save you. And this guy just thought that he could do certain things to either buy his way out of that if he had to. And he has done that on numerous of times, buying his way out of some things. But then again, when his people need money who are around him and work for him, he ain't got it for him. So, it's funny.
I mean, you could even say he kind of did it this time. I mean, I looked it up and they say he spent $10 to $15 million on lawyers. So, I mean, and he got the main charges, the RICOs and all that other wild stuff, not guilty, man. So, I mean, he kind of did again.
Bro, that made up before he even went to trial, man. Come on, bro. And I've said this 1,000 times to probably 1,001 people. Your main two charges that you talk about in court, you don't even charge him with? Come on, Cam. The gun charge.
Right.
They
found the guns at his house when they had a proper warrant, and he never got charged. That's weird as a...
Right. The drug charges.
Yep.
Those baby oils had stuff in it. It even came out in the documentary, and one doctor them said what had it. Nobody carries that many and wrapped up in certain things. Come on, bro. If you was using baby oil, you ain't got to carry it with you. Yo, run to Walgreens, give me 10 cases of baby oil. Get all the baby oil at Walgreens. That baby oil had some kind of chemical in it that helped you seduce the person and make them feel free or something like that. They were saying it was some kind of drug that was in that baby oil. Not only that, He ain't get charged with the physical drugs that they can see. The pink cocaine, all this other shit. So with the feds and me working around them and working with them, and what I mean working with them, me being a parole officer, you know what I'm saying, dealing in federal cases and stuff like that, they didn't charge him because, one, brother, I swear, it was a deal made way before they got to court. Cause that's in New York City, that was gonna give you 10 years. You get 5 to 10 years automatically. If you beat it in feds,
Documentaries carry real influence, especially when they revisit stories that were never fully resolved. The recent wave of Diddy-focused films and exposed-style content has reshaped how many people interpret the past. Old clips are reframed. Old interviews are re-examined. Silence starts to look suspicious. Distance begins to feel like guilt. The issue is not investigation. The issue is implication without confirmation. When documentaries rely heavily on mood, music, and suggestion, viewers can walk away with the feeling that something has been proven when it has not. Atmosphere can quietly replace evidence. Gone Deal's comments are a clear example of how this happens. A general statement about fear or power imbalance is often treated as connective tissue between unrelated names and events. What begins as a broad observation can be reshaped into what sounds like a direct accusation involving specific individuals. Once that shift happens, the internet fills in the gaps. Mike Tyson's name gets pulled into the narrative. Other celebrities are added. The conversation moves away from what can be verified and toward what feels believable. In that space, suggestion becomes stronger than proof, and emotion travels faster than facts.
People have been talking about for some time now. Alex, let me begin with you. The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, you know, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, you know, to the table. You know, this is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, you know, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, you know. And there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and had the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. And it really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, you know, talked about all over the country. You know, all eyes were on him, you know, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, you know, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, you know, there's phone calls with his attorneys, you know, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. You know, he has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public, you know, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times. But, you know, the footage also, in the footage, we also see how he's getting incoming, you know, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yeah, those behaviors. And I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
It's a lot easier.
This is where documentary storytelling can unintentionally shift from clarity to rumor. Revisiting the past matters, but doing it responsibly means resisting the urge to turn association into accusation. Without that discipline, documentaries stop being tools for understanding and start becoming amplifiers of assumption.
Telling me on his way here, I didn't see this, but apparently there's another 100 hours of Diddy footage on the cutting room floor.
So Diddy is still doing press. I mean, Diddy. 50.
Diddy is not doing press.
No, he's
doing press on the yard.
He's doing press, like he's doing push-ups. No, 50 is still doing press, and obviously with the success of the Reckoning documentary, he's talking about there's more footage. There's 140 hours that he has. And each episode was only maybe an hour, I think. There was 4 episodes, so there's at least 130 something more hours that he hasn't edited or produced. And he's saying that he may put it out on YouTube, just to put it out there,
like on his 50 Cent Devo page.
I don't know if it'll be on his page, but he just said he doesn't know if he's going to release it with Netflix or through Netflix. He might just put it out on YouTube or wherever, some other platform. But the one thing that he said that was interesting is he said because you see people out here trying to say, oh, the documentary can paint a narrative, this, that, and the third, and his words were if you see the rest of this footage, there will be no more kind of like, oh, you can paint this narrative. It's pretty clear cut, the things that are being said in the documentary, the things that he still can't believe Puff, because he says that a lot, like he can't believe Puff actually recorded all of this.
Yeah, but I mean, so why does 50 not put that? If it's that damning and that crazy, why not put it in the doc?
I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't put it in the doc. Maybe the stories. Maybe he has more people that he would need to interview and have sit down for the documentary to kind of go through those stories that are in there. It could be a number of reasons, but the fact that he has over 100 hours of footage of personal footage and things like that leading up to the case, because the story is Puff felt like he was going to win the case.
Yeah.
And that this was going to be footage for his documentary that he would have released,
the redemption,
after the trial was done and things like that. So the amount of things that he probably was recording, just going off of the fact that he felt like they were going to win the case.
Yeah. This is my footage and these guys aren't going to put it out.
Yeah.
Like all the crazy we're going to take out.
Right.
But I mean, even I did see who I think was the director of what Diddy was trying to do had mentioned that he was on vacation or was out of town and had someone fill in for him. And that's the only footage that made it to the doc because that guy sold it. So maybe that director didn't pay the person to fill in, so he owned the footage and was able to give it away. But maybe all this other footage, 50 doesn't have permission to put out. Like, okay, he could have it, but the director's like, no, this is my footage. Like, you got the other I had my mans fill in for me for 3 days, and he has that footage now.
Right.
So maybe that could be it. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like 50 is so petty that if it was that crazy, he would have just put the in the doc. But who knows? I don't even want to speculate what is on the 100 hours.
Yeah.
After Lil Rod telling me what was going on, I don't know if I want to see it visually.
I mean, and for 50 to say the footage that's on there is it leaves no more room for people to kind of say, oh, the narratives are being created, it's false. For 50 to say that, I mean, we can only imagine the footage that he's seen and that he has. So we'll have to see if any of that ever sees the light of day. I'm sure that, Diddy's team is going to do everything they can to make sure that that doesn't happen.
One of the most dangerous phrases in internet culture is everyone knew. It sounds authoritative, but it rarely comes with names, timelines, or evidence. In discussions about Diddy's parties and Mike Tyson's rumored involvement, everyone knew is often used to bridge the gap between suspicion and certainty. That's how rumors harden into assumed truth. Repetition replaces verification. Vague language replaces specificity. Emotion replaces facts. Over time, people stop asking where the claim came from. They only remember that they've heard it before. This is especially damaging when dealing with decades-old events, where memories fade and documentation is limited. The story becomes less about what actually happened and more about how it feels to believe it happened. That does a disservice to real accountability, real victims, and real truth. If wrongdoing occurred, it deserves to be exposed with clarity and evidence. But when rumors grow unchecked, they weaken the credibility of all claims, even legitimate ones. The internet's hunger for dramatic conclusions often undermines the very justice it claims to seek. When Gondil speaks about fear, it's important to understand what fear often means in celebrity environments. Fear doesn't always point to a specific event. Sometimes it points to a power imbalance. Young people entering rooms filled with wealth, influence, and unspoken rules can feel pressure without fully understanding why. At elite parties, especially during the height of fame-driven culture, the atmosphere itself could be intimidating. Careers could rise or stall in a single night. Saying the wrong thing or upsetting the wrong person could carry real consequences. That kind of environment naturally creates silence. But online, silence is often misread as proof of wrongdoing. When people hear that the girls were scared, they often assume something extreme must have happened. What gets overlooked is that fear can exist even without a single criminal act taking place. It can exist because of hierarchy, reputation, and uncertainty. This matters when names like Mike Tyson are introduced into the discussion. Tyson's presence alone, given his fame and reputation at the time, could have been intimidating to some without implying misconduct. Power itself can unsettle people. Presence is not proof. Association is not evidence. And fear, by itself, is not a verdict.
But some people are afraid. What do you know about? Because some people are talking about there's Diddy involvement with Jamie and something happened because he was calling him out for some of the parties he was putting up. Is there anything you have opinions on Diddy? Have you had any experiences with Diddy?
No, just I knew him for a long time.
Got it. And with you, he was chill. He was good. He was
awesome guy.
Yeah.
I knew him before he was Diddy. And I knew him for a long time. When I first became champ, I knew him. I remember him. He used to have crates when he used to have my after parties and stuff. Also when they were throwing parties. I remember
This
him.
is when he was the CEO founder of Bad Boy.
No, I don't think he was Bad Boy yet. No, he wasn't him. Damon Dash and all those guys. They weren't on yet. I was like the first street guy that really got on. I'm talking about the guy doing crime in the streets that became a television guy, and everyone knew he was a celebrity, had fancy cars. I was the first.
This is all in Brooklyn.
I'm the first of our generation of that crew. The street hustlers that really blew up like that.
And you guys all knew each other.
Yeah,
it's the same era.
Listen, this young lady that works for my company, and she started saying names to people I remember when I was 11, 12 years old. And it baffles me that you think you got away from these people. You'll never see them again. You knew them when you were at the worst of your level or heard about them. And you're not the only one God had his hand on. These guys made them successful too. And just to know them and see them at this level of the game is just mind-boggling. I mean, it's really... you're almost like proud in a way when you see them. You know what they experienced in life, and now they became respectable citizens.
Understanding this distinction is crucial. Without it, every emotional reaction becomes retroactively criminalized, and every powerful figure becomes automatically suspect. We are living in an era that demands accountability, but often rushes past verification. That tension sits at the center of today's conversation. The re-examination of Diddy's legacy, driven by documentaries and online commentary, has created space for overdue questions about power, protection, and responsibility in entertainment. That is important, but that same space also attracts speculation. Mike Tyson's name continues to circulate not because of new findings, but because he fits a narrative many people already believe. When that happens, feeling starts to replace evidence. Once emotion becomes proof, correcting the record becomes almost impossible. People invest in a version of events and resist nuance. This is how reputations are reshaped long after the era itself has passed. Not through court records or verified testimony, but through repetition and belief. If the goal is real accountability, then facts must lead the conversation, not association. Otherwise, everyone who lived through a chaotic period becomes permanently tied to its worst interpretations. That does not bring justice. It creates confusion. Separating fact from feeling protects real victims by keeping standards high and stories accurate. It also protects truth from being...
What does that mean? It's a party favor. That was somebody you could take off the table. So you're telling me they set children? I set children on a table. Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them, yep. And they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak-off parties, mm-hmm. They put children on the table instead of gift bags, mm-hmm. And then people can do what? Take you off the table and have, even though it's against the rules to do certain things, like ain't the Full House. That's against the rules. Like for me, that was against the rules, but that didn't matter. That did not matter. So they come choose you off the table, do whatever they want with you, and then what happens? Then they put you back on the table. They put you back on the table for somebody else to come choose you? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's called a party favor effect. That's just one of the little things that go on at the freak-off parties with children. Were there animals there? Mm-hmm. Goats. Did they turn the animals loose on the kids? Yeah. And if you got sick and threw up because it was so disgusting, what happened? You had to eat it. You had to eat your vomit? Mm-hmm. If you threw up. That's satanic ritual abuse. Diddy was at this party? Mm-hmm. Denzel Washington was at this party? Yep. Birdman was at this party? Yes, he was. And Young Jock? Yep. And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left? And beanie socks and a gold chain. So you're telling me Denzel Washington was butt naked, he had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold chain, and that's it. In front of children. Yep. Funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou. Well, so a lot of them do. I think you also told me that one of those men have a birthmark. Left thigh. So one of those men have a birthmark on their left thigh. Did you have sexual interactions with Diddy? Denzel? And I know we don't tell on Denzel. You might not tell on Denzel, but your mama gonna tell on every fuck. I ain't keeping no secrets. Denzel? Yep. Birdman? Did Birdman promise you things? So much. Like what he promised Lil Wayne at a young age. because you know we share the system together. Share a birthday together too. I know a lot of you have seen P. Diddy get guardianship of a lot of young kids. That means he holds their contracts. I know you've heard me talk about Ali's contract and how often it gets auctioned off, and the things that come from that when it's auctioned. So when you're seeing that he was a guardian for these children, he's holding their MK Ultra contracts is what that translates to.
And in cases like this, where history, fame, and emotion collide, protecting truth may be the most difficult task of all. School. When all of this is stripped down, what remains is not proof, but perception. Mike Tyson existed in a chaotic era and has openly admitted to personal failings. Diddy hosted high-profile parties that have since become symbols of excess and power. Gene Deal spoke about fear and imbalance. Documentaries reframed the past, and the internet connected everything into a single story that feels complete, even when it is not. The danger is not in asking hard questions. The danger is answering them without evidence. Attaching names to improving claims may feel like accountability, but it can just as easily become distortion that if the goal is truth, then clarity matters more than outrage. Context matters more than clicks, and facts matter more than feelings. So, as these stories continue to resurface, the real question is this: are we uncovering the truth about the past, or are we rewriting it to fit the narrative we want to believe? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new upload. And until then, fam, keep it real.